The following program is the work of broadcast students from the British Columbia Institute of Technology. BCIT magazine features news stories from around the Lower Mainland over the past week. Responsibility for the content of the show rests completely with the students and their BCIT instructors.
Coming up on BCIT magazine, family and friends get a chance to remember one of Robert Pickton's victims.
Electra residents get a chance to voice their concerns about the recent hazmat emergency.
An advocate for the downtown east side speaks out against a new bar in Gastown.
And we take a look at a local storage facility for the homeless in the city's downtown east side. Good afternoon and welcome to BCIT Magazine. I'm Ragnar Hagen.
And I'm Monica Martinez. We start today's show with breaking news from East Vancouver, where a local politician is organizing a protest. NDP MLA Adrian Dix organized a rally to protest the closure of elementary schools in his riding. He rented a school bus to take parents from the schools to the school board offices.
The students who live together in this neighborhood and live as a community would be split apart through several other schools. It would mean we'd lose a great school with a great tradition. And in the long run, it would mean all the people that are coming to this neighborhood in the next few years, all the developments around here, would have no place to go to school.
The three schools are Graham Bruce Elementary, Carlton Elementary, and Collingwood Community School. About 750 kids will be affected by the closures. Many people came together to celebrate the life of a woman who was murdered by Robert Pickton. Reporter Krista Dow was there as the tears fell and laughter echoed in the crowd.
Family and friends gathered at a local park this week to pay their respects to Georgina Papin, one of the 6 women Robert Pickton was convicted of murdering. Christina Bateman, her daughter, last saw her mother over a decade ago.
She was just a great person, and although last time I saw her was when I was 12. She was having some problems, so she called my grandparents and she brought me down to live with them. And that's how she's, I know that she cared about me because she did that, because she wanted me to have a better life.
One of Georgina's longtime friends, CJ Julian, says the day is not about mourning, but more about expressing joy in having known Georgina.
It's a great honor to be here to celebrate Georgina Papin's life, and celebration of not how she died, but to celebrate her life before.
Friends light candles to say one last goodbye. Krista Dow in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Residents of the Electra building gathered in a closed meeting looking for answers from city officials. Reporter Casey Snow was on hand to get their reactions.
Residents of the Electra building gathered at St. Andrew's Church downtown to voice their concerns and to gain answers from city officials. During the closed meeting, residents got the opportunity for the first time to ask the tough questions regarding the process of the cleanup and if the chemical poses a threat to their health.
We're still waiting for the answer whether there's chemical getting our body or not. And that's what the question is. They have not been able to tell us whether we have chemicals or not.
If they're dealing with noxious chemicals, should they not have mechanisms in place in case things like this happen, or are they just flying by the seat of their pants?
They don't know what it is. They don't know what the chemicals are. They don't know how they are going to react. They don't know.
Senior hygienist for PHH ARC Environmental, Steve Wilk, tried to field questions about the chemical.
We will be conducting tests all day today and possibly into tomorrow. It's our first time into the building doing some testing. We'll have some preliminary data and then we will go from there. Our crew does have direct reading instruments, so they will suit up. They're not wearing a full hazmat suit. They're wearing a respirator that protects from the chemicals that we've identified can happen from a fire. And they will wear respirators and coveralls.
It's still uncertain as to when residents will be able to return home. For now, the province has given approval to provide hotels for another few days. Casey Snow in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
Our reporter Casey Snow continues to follow this story, and she now joins us live in studio. Casey, the latest we heard is that residents are not allowed back in their homes yet. Has there been any update on that?
Yes, there has, Ragnar. It was announced that residents will be allowed gradually back into their homes, but the city officials will be doing a walkthrough of each individual apartment to clear it first.
Have city officials been able to identify what the chemical is yet?
After days of testing, they still haven't been able to put a name to the chemical, but they do know what caused the scare. The foam that the construction company used mixed with a chemical, exposing a toxic gas and giving off a mysterious odor.
All right, thank you, Casey, for that. A new bar has opened up in Gastown's Woodwards building. My co-anchor Monica Martinez spoke with a local advocate who's worried that this new business will push away low-income residents.
There's a new addition to the main floor of the Woodwards building. The Charles Bar, appropriately named after Charles Woodward, is drawing a lot of clients, but also criticism. Editor of Vancouver's street newspaper, Megaphone Magazine, worries that the Charles Bar is the latest example of the neighborhood's gentrification.
It's particularly selling at the Charles Bar and the Woodwards because that was supposed to be the epicenter of this revitalized neighborhood, to be very inclusive and to make sure that it was a welcoming and accepting centerpiece for the new downtown east side. And to see a bar that really is not very welcoming to lower income people at all is not really encouraging.
Condon says he doesn't have a problem with higher end businesses, but he thinks the rapid development of the area over the past year is too extreme.
I think we're really sort of seeing the pendulum shift the other way now towards upper income establishments that are kind of taking over the neighborhood. And we just need a balance so that people aren't getting pushed out.
At the Charles Bar, the general manager says everyone is welcome.
We have no intention to displace anybody. We're just here to provide the service we provide.
Campbell worked in consultation with local advocate Jim Green to build a bar that would be community friendly. No locals currently work here, but Campbell hopes that will change through their involvement with a youth employment group.
We're working with them in order to hire local people, local community people, to fill certain, whatever jobs they're qualified to do within this organization.
So you won't be going to the Charles Bar?
Oh, I have no problem. I mean, I don't mean to pick on the Charles Bar. Like, I have no problem with that kind of establishment. My gripe is really with the general trend that's going on in the neighborhood. You know, the Charles Bar is just an example of a bigger issue that we're seeing here.
Newly developed buildings sit next to lower income housing units as Vancouver's oldest neighborhood quickly becomes its newest. Monica Martinez in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine.
The only homeless storage facility in Vancouver is in jeopardy of shutting down if it doesn't receive funding from outside sources. My co-anchor Ragnar Hagen was there, and he filed this story.
There's a new addition to the main floor of the Woodwards building.
The First United Church on Vancouver's downtown east side houses the city's only storage facility for homeless people. This facility accommodates 155 storage bins and up to 30 shopping carts.
It's first come, first serve. We don't have a waiting list. Often we have at least once a day somebody that needs to be binned, or bagged, pardon me, so that somebody new can use it. So we just simply, while the person's waiting, we just quickly bag it up, put their name and their and the date that it was bagged on it. We sanitize out the bin and give it to the new person.
It's better than leaving it inside. Like before they had this, you'd lose all your stuff, right? People take it off your bunk or your bed or whatever. So, no, it works for me.
What have you been storing here?
Clothes mainly, just clothes. Couple other things, ID, things I don't want to lose.
Space is at a premium in this neighborhood, and storage at First United is booked solid. If the facility was to close, people would be forced to move their stuff anywhere they can.
I'm not sure. It'd probably go to Greyhound and be expensive. And, you know, you have to every day. Yeah, every day. Well, every day you have to go and check your stuff. And I used to keep stuff at Greyhound before. If you don't put $5 in that meter a day, they bag your shit and put it for destruction, right, or disposal. Yeah, it's good. It's a good facility. I like it.
But funds are running out, so they decided to submit a video to the Pepsi Refresh project.
I don't know how you go with that.
When we started voting, the first time I logged on to vote, we were already 10th, which is great, because I believe there's over 60 people in that category for the 25,000 under arts and culture. After voting each day, we wound up coming up to about 7th, and then we wound up working our way up to 2nd, and then we became first last week, which is great.
The video for Every Toad Has a Story can be found on the Refresh Everything website, and voting will be open until October 31st. Ragnar Hagen in Vancouver for BCIT Magazine. Coming up after the break, drinkers in BC now have new laws to deal with.
Lack of funding for the Stanley Park Zoo and the Bedell Conservatory end up leaving some animals in limbo.
And major announcements are made at the International Airline Routes Conference. Stay with us.